Hey, welcome to Two Doctors Homestead. My name's Daniel, and today we're showcasing the UPLUS 12 volt 100 amp hour AGM-GEL battery. It's a deep cycle battery. UPLUS sent this to us for free to test it out, so in that sense it's a compensated promotion video, paid promotion, but I am excited to get the battery. It's in great shape. It feels like a good quality battery. It is 100 amp hours, so if you do 100 amp hours times 12 volts, you can get a sense of your wattage. So 100 amp hours times 12, this would be 1200 watts. However, with the lead acid with AGM battery, you generally don't want to go below 50%, so we could divide that by 2, and that gets you about 600 watt hours of power from the battery. So that would mean maybe 1200 watt hours for 30 minutes, 2400 watt hours for 2400 watts for 15 minutes. We'll see. We're going to test it out, but I am actually super excited to get the battery. Right now I have 4 200 amp hour batteries, also lead acid in my solar power backup system for my house. I wanted to get another one to build more of a portable power system, and this is great, I think, for that portable system. So UPLUS didn't know, but I wanted to get one anyway, so I'm very excited that they sent me one to test out. It seems like a very high quality battery. It's got the handles on it so you can carry it around. I know there's a lot of people that are fans of the lithium, but I love the lead acid batteries. They generally have a higher discharge capability in terms of rapid discharge, and it's just proven technology. The lead acid batteries are proven technology. They're very simple technology. The idea of a lead acid battery, I think, goes back to the Mayans. They were playing with some batteries back then, but it's very old, proven technology. I do get a little nervous sometimes with the lithium batteries. They generally have the more of the fire warnings. You never hear, or you hear about things like old cell phones bursting into flames, and those hoverboards bursting into flames, and maybe electric cars bursting into flames. Not trying to spread fear, uncertainty, and doubt and FUD about lithium. If you like lithium, go with lithium. I'm generally a fan of the lead acid. The weight doesn't bother me as much. They're a little cheaper up front. I understand lithium more long term is supposed to be a better deal, but I found I like the lead acid. They're more reliable in harsher weather conditions, which for my case is when I'm probably going to be wanting to run my backup power system. That's more likely when you're going to have a grid failure, and it's a very simple technology if you're worried about things like EMPs, CMEs, that kind of thing. So in that sense, I like the lead acid. This is a AGM-GEL deep cycle from UPLUS, and once again, we appreciate them sending it over to test it out. So I just got it out of the box. First thing I wanted to do is test the voltage here. So I've got my voltmeter to see what voltage it ships with. So we'll go ahead and plug this one in. With the voltmeter, I like to go negative and then positive. So we can test it out. And it's 12.9 volts out of the box, right? So we'll disconnect that. So I'm probably going to plug it in. So I have a few components I've showed before. I have my inverter here. I have my trickle charger here. So these are the kind of things that I could put in with the battery to make my own portable battery box. I could either build a box or buy like a plastic case. So what I'm going to do is just because I'm going to plug it into the trickle charger for a little while and see if I can get some more juice in it. It should be able to go up to about 14.7 volts right in the battery. So we're going to put a little power in it, and then I'm going to hook up the inverter and see if we can make a cup of coffee. Now this is a 400 watt inverter. It's a modified sine wave. I might look at a higher wattage pure sine wave, but if we can, ultimately I'd like to hook up the coffee pot to the inverter and see if we can make a cup of coffee from the battery and track the electrical usage for that. So I'm going to pause the video for a few minutes and hook up the battery charger and see if we can get a few more volts in this battery. Alright, welcome back. The battery's been plugged into the charger, the trickle charger, for a little while here. So I was checking out the voltage, and it looks like we are We're at 14.3 volts, it looks like right now, so it is absolutely taking a charge. I was playing with the inverter a little bit while I was waiting for the battery to charge, and honestly, I don't think the inverter works. So it's a good example of always test your backups, or in this case, a backup for a backup, but the inverter doesn't seem to work. So I got this at Walmart for $22 on sale, and something's not working, but that's certainly not the battery's fault. I'll likely have to get another inverter, so before I can actually start plugging stuff into the battery and making coffee and powering my lights and whatnot, we'll have to pick that up. But once again, not the battery's fault at all. Super excited about the battery. I think this is going to open up a lot of possibilities. Once again, we'll get it in a box. We'll mount the charger. So you see I got my little charger running, so it's putting a charge on the battery, just topping it up. I picked this up to go in the box with it, and this is a little voltmeter, little battery capacity voltage, so this will connect to the battery and tell me my voltage, and I think this also does a percentage full, which is pretty cool. So I think we're going to have a lot of fun with the battery, and once I can get another inverter, we'll make another video. We'll test it out. We'll plug some stuff in and actually see what kind of draw we can get on the battery and what we can run. I'd like to be able to show, maybe we can get our hot plate that we bought out and cook some food on it using the battery. Certainly run some lamps, run some coffee, some basic small appliances, and just get a sense. If you had a 100 amp hour lead acid battery, which is about 50 amp hours in reality, you could have a 50 amp hour lithium. What can you really run? What can you really power? How much backup power does that give you, right? And as I mentioned, I'm charging it right now. I got this battery charger maintainer 3 amp. So this is plugged into my solar. So technically I'm charging it on solar, right? I didn't, not plugging a panel through a charge controller into it, but I'm running it through the inverter off my batteries that are charging off solar right now as we speak. They do sell smaller charge controllers, which is what you plug your solar panel into to charge the battery, right? You want to run it through a charge controller. So I could pick up something like that. I've seen those as low as $10, $15, and that would let me, I could put it in the box with the battery, and then I'd have the ability to go solar directly into the battery. Now, technically, your solar panel says 12 volts. It could produce more volts than that depending on the electricity. So you might be thinking, hey, I could wire my solar panel directly to the battery, right, if we got 12 volts coming off the panel. It doesn't necessarily work like that. The charge controller really protects the battery from overcharging, right? You wouldn't want to melt your battery if you had too much sun coming in on the panel. So I would recommend a charge controller. We might get one. I already have solar, so I don't know if I want another backup solar setup. Maybe we'll do that. But happy with the battery. Think it's a great battery. Definitely recommend it. Everything seems good so far. So thank you for watching, and we appreciate you.